Hi, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. I want to share with you some books that are coming out this winter that I am most excited about, most interested in. They are Christian fiction books. They are listed, hopefully, as Christian fiction and in a range of different genres. So I'm happy to share with you these. Let me know in the comments if you've got a particular book that's coming out this winter that you're very excited to read, if that's Christian fiction or clean fiction, and if you would read any of the books that I've mentioned. So I'm going to put my reading glasses on. In December, The Seaside Homecoming by Julie Klassen is coming out, and this is book 3 in the On Devonshire Shores series, and this one is going to be featuring the eldest sister Claire. So if you've been reading the series, you will have heard some stuff about Claire. I won't go into the story too much on this one because I don't know how much will be spoiled for the first 2 books, but I've been enjoying this series, partly because it's set like just down the coast from me in Devon, which is the county where I live, and I live on the coast as well. So it's a place that I know. It's the whole kind of atmosphere, and it's Regency, I want to say. It's certainly historical fiction. Claire is answering an advertisement for someone looking for a respectable female partner in the Sidmouth boarding house, and still covering all the sisters. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. Also in December, So Into You by Kathleen Fuller is releasing, and this looks like a contemporary romance upbeat one from the cover, and the cover's what drew me into it. The style of cover makes me think it's like rom-com type of thing, and in fact the descriptions is opposites attract in this heartfelt rom-com about overcoming your past and embracing all that life has to offer. Following Britt Branch, who has a successful MyTube channel slip of the tongue, where she teaches all kinds of art lessons and is obsessed with the 1970s. She has her style of her own and loves yacht rock. I have no idea what yacht rock is. She also has a huge problem, severe social anxiety. Yeah, so that looks like a fun contemporary romance. Cloaked in Beauty by Karen Witemeyer. I think that's book 3 in this series of Texas historical fiction, but retellings of fairy tales, or sort of loosely based, to be honest. This series has been on fairy tales, but I have been enjoying this series, and this one I think is based on both Little Red Riding Hood and Sleeping Beauty. Those two entwined for a romantic fairy tale retelling that explores the power of true love conquering even the darkest of nights. And it is following Letty Hood, who spent the last 15 years of her life hidden away with her grandmother to escape the deadly schemes of an uncle who wants her dead. Now, in her 21st birthday on the horizon, she is forced to accept the escort of a stranger and return to Houston in secret so that she can claim a birthright that will make her one of the wealthiest women in Texas, if she lives long enough to inherit. I enjoyed those ones. They are generally got some mystery suspense elements in them, but it's more historical romance. Generally, it's more upbeat than downbeat, and I like a good fairy tale retelling. Always a sucker for that one. Also in December, The Last Fashion House in Paris by Renee Ryan. This is set in the heart of occupied World War II Paris. An elegant fashion house is the unlikely headquarters of a daring resistance network. Behind closed doors, courageous women vie to save loved ones and strangers alike from the Nazis in this powerful story of survival, friendship, and second chances. And this is following Pauline, who spends her days flirting, shopping, and drawing elegant dresses. Then the German tanks come into France, and a reckless romance turns into deep betrayal. So I like this sort of time period. I like books about Paris. I find it very interesting. I also like fashion and the glamour of fashion mixed with the darkness of war. I think it's a very interesting kind of subject combination. So yeah, if this one has some Christian content in it as well, it'd be really, really good. Then in January, we have With This Ring by Amy Clipston. And this is contemporary romance, I think, following Dakota, who is living her dream running fairy tale bridal shop in her hometown of Flowering Grove. But despite helping others find their happily ever afters, getting married and settled down isn't on her radar. She doesn't have time for a relationship between running her shop and giving roller skating lessons at the local rink. And also Hudson, who made his dream a reality when he started his own software company in the big city, and hoping that returning home will help return his focus, he's instead thrown into helping his sister plan her wedding. This looks like a second chance romance to me. Yeah. It's the cover sort of sells it to me. It looks like sweet romance and one that I might be interested in reading. Also in January, Echo Nova by Clint Hall is, I think, Christian sci-fi. As with all of these, I will have to sort of check out reviews or read a couple of chapters before picking up the sort of fantasy sci-fi ones, just so that I can check out whether it's going to be something that I'll be okay with or not. But this is following Dash, who is a poor teenager living in the dregs. He can only escape his dismal reality by competing in illegal rooftop races and staying up late to watch the time net with his younger brother. When there is an opportunity to participate in a competition set thousands of years in the past, he uses his rooftop racer skills to catch the eye of Mr. Mertrim, head of entertainment for the massive Dominus Corporation. So it looks like this is a time travel novel, which I love time travel books, and it is going to be in the most dangerous periods in history, including the Cretaceous period, feudal Japan, the Wild West, and the Golden Age of piracy. So yeah, all of those things sound really interesting, and rooftop racing as well. Going to be a race through history, through time travel. Sounds really, really cool to me. I think that would be one that I would really enjoy, as long as it's long as the sort of content is okay. But I think that's going to be a Christian one. How Christian, don't know. When the Stars Light the Sky by Elizabeth Camden is another historical fiction, and this is the second book, I think, in that series. I read the first book, enjoyed it, and would really like to read the rest of the series. This one is following Inga, who carefree life in New York takes a dramatic turn when she sails for Berlin, Germany, to serve as the secretary for America's ambassador. Amid the glamour of life at the embassy, she continually finds herself at odds with the straight-laced and imposing Benedict, the diplomatic chief of staff who harbours deep misgivings towards the German-born Inga. And this is sometime around World War One. So yeah, again, interesting time period, interesting characters. I like Elizabeth Camden's writing. I like that there's usually some romance and mystery involved in there, or suspense anyway, that kind of spies, that sort of thing. So yeah, hopefully I'll enjoy that one. Coming out in February, Secrets Between the Shelves is 4 cozy bookshop mysteries by Cynthia, Hickey, Linda Baten Johnson, Teresa, Ives, Lilly, and Marilyn Turk. I have read What Are These books before, and I am currently halfway through while I'm filming this one. Another one, it's like 4 different novellas in a bind-up, and they are usually Christian cozy mysteries, fairly upbeat style, as cozy mysteries often are, and sometimes a bit of romance in there as well, but short ones. And so this one is all focused around people who have bookshops, that kind of thing. Amber has a new bookshop and tea room, but one of the book collectors ends up dead. Lilly has pirate-themed bookshop, and she never expected to find a young pirate dead on her shop floor. Abby opens up Secret Passages bookshop, not realising her historic building holds a real secret passage and a missing teenager. Lauren is in Florida and goes to Seaside Books and Reading Room, but she is strangely attracted to the owner, who is suspected of killing his wife. Oh, so those all sound like interesting sort of novellas to get into, and I do like cozy mystery novellas. They can be fun to read. They don't always work out for me, but I do enjoy them on the most part. And then another sort of cozy mystery is Sabotage at Cedar Creek by Janice Thompson, and this is, I think, this book 2 in this series, not sure, connected with Tilly, the red antique truck. Tasha has opened a new bed and breakfast, but a fire threatens to spoil all she has worked for, and so Raylan immediately gets to work sleuthing out who could be behind such an act of sabotage. So don't know if there are any murders in this series. I've got a feeling they are more sort of mystery rather than murder mystery, which suits me because I like the mystery elements of mysteries. I don't like gruesome deaths and things, so the less said on that the better for me, but it sounds like it will be a upbeat mystery, cozy mystery sort of thing. Another one I've highlighted in February is Midnight on the Scottish Shore by Sarah Sundin. I have not read any books by Sarah Sundin, but she comes up year after year with fantastic covers and sort of wartime themed books, so those always, sound like they should be ones that I would like to read. I'm not always in the mood for darker books, but it sounds like it would be something that I would like to read. This one is following Scylla, who is trying to survive the German occupation of Netherlands by doing the unthinkable, becoming a spy for the Nazis in Britain. She soothes her conscience with a plan to abandon her mission and instead aid the Allies. Her scheme is thwarted when naval officer Lieutenant Lachlan Mackenzie finds her along the Scottish shore and turns her in to be executed. Yeah, so wartime espionage, definitely something that I would be interested in reading at some point. The Nature of Love by Toni Shiloh. Some of her books have been some of my favourite contemporary romance for Christian fiction, so I would like to pick this one up at some point, I think. This one is following Dr. Erica Kennedy, a renowned orthopaedic surgeon who finds herself at a crossroads in life. 41, she's achieved remarkable success in her career, but when it comes to her love life, she feels hopeless. Until she meets Christian, a passionate wildlife conservationist, and then tragedy strikes and Erica suddenly becomes the guardian of her nieces. So God is mentioned in the description, so I have high hopes there would be some Christian content in that book, and I would like to pick that up at some point, I think. And we have another fantasy book, The Unravelling of Emmeline Delane by Lindsay A. Franklin. This is another one where I'll have to check it out first to see what the magical side is like before I read it and see whether it's something I'm comfortable with, but it sounds quite interesting to me. It is following Emmeline, who wants to know what happened to her sister, Camille, 7 years ago on the day she vanished. Emmeline witnessed Camille unravel and disappear, but no one believes her. Since they think she's crazy, the least cops could do is solve Camille's case. Emmeline's life is upended when she is pulled through a portal into the fantasy land of her childhood imaginings, a magical library holding story worlds of every story ever published, and trouble is brewing in the land of Rivendell. Rogue characters threaten their plot lines and broken classics are beginning to crumble, but Emmeline only wants to find Camille. So it sounds like really fascinating. It sounds like something I would like, a magical library and all that kind of thing. The only thing that sort of makes me nervous is that the cover, she looks like she's looking into a crystal ball. So yeah, I'm not quite sure where they're going to go with that one, but it is a beautiful cover and an intriguing synopsis. And finally, An Overdue Match by Sarah Monzon is coming out in February, and it's a contemporary romance again, hopefully a sort of rom-com again. I read one of her Christmas books and really enjoyed that one. Don't know how much Christian content will be in this one, but it sounds like, and it looks like from the cover, that it will be a fun romance book. It is following librarian Evangeline, who doesn't believe that she's heroin material. Her fiancé calls off their wedding when she lost her hair to alopecia. So she turns to matchmaking, and armed with library patrons' checkout histories, she's determined to make at least one love connection, even if it's not her own. And then tattoo artist Ty, who is used to people judging him with a single glance and doesn't surprise him when the town's quirky new librarian does the same thing by leaving his bad boy reputation without giving him a chance. But he's intrigued by her, learns about her scheme, and makes a bargain with her that she has to agree to one date with him for every time she uses his hometown knowledge to set up library patrons on a romantic rendezvous. So that sounds like a fun premise to me, and also quite interesting characters, and set in a library, of course. We all love books and libraries full of books. 2 books in a row, in fact, that have libraries, one a magical library and one a contemporary library. So let me know in the comments if any of those books stand out to you, or any others you are looking forward to. I hope that you are having a great reading week and you are well and safe, and I hope that you have a fantastic time until next time I see you. I pray God bless you and your families. Okay, see you again. Bye.